This, my friends, is the Skullcandy Crusher ANC2, and I'm gonna say it up front, these are the funnest headphones I've listened to in a bloody long time. If you like this, you're gonna like the Crusher 2s. It's not for everyone, sure, but its biggest party trick is right in here. The headphone literally has a second driver in which its only job is to work as a subwoofer. No wonder they call it the Crusher. And let's find out why this has taken over as my daily driver for the past month. After these messages. The Skullcandy Crusher ANC2 rings in at 230 MSRP in one single colorway. There is noise cancellation, multi-point Bluetooth 5.2 with SBC and AAC support. In the business end of things are 40mm primary drivers running at 32 ohms, plus, like the previous Crusher, has separate subwoofer drivers as well, or what Skullcandy calls Crusher specifically, running at 8 ohms. The device is rather heavy at 334 grams, but once it's on your head, it's actually quite comfortable thanks to the generous ear pad, very nice and soft and plush, really well made, and a thick crown padding with really nice soft touch towards the top and plenty of detents for head adjustments. And by the way, let me try to focus on this. Come on, little Panasonic, you can do it. There you go. This thing has nice fabric, a fabric lining which is breathable too. But something to take note of, if you don't stow this properly in the case, the included case, which is really nice as well. If you just stow this naked, like in a backpack, and just toss it in there, this, you can see a little nick right there from something sharp already happened. But you know, your mileage may vary, but just something to bear in mind. The design and the material colors are also quite reserved for a Skullcandy. Even the logo is subdued. You can check that out there. Soft touch plastics on the ear caps, a well-made headband. Although the plastics, like right here, you probably can see it in the light, they tend to show grease very easily. I can just run my hand right there, you can see it right there. There are no touch controls here, guys, just separate play, pause, forward, backward buttons on the right ear cup. Play pause is concave, making it easier to find by touch alone or in the dark. Towards the rear is a toggle slider that controls noise cancellation. The left ear cup has the unique Crusher dial that also has an assignable clickable command. The large orange button here is the power button, which also glows different colors while charging or pairing. And charging, by the way, is done via USB-C, and there's a 3.5mm jack next to that. There is no auto pause play or weather resistance of any kind, in case you're wondering. The headphone does have always hearing voice control though. That means when you say Alexa or Hey Skullcandy or Hey iHeart, you can control those services, launch Spotify playlists, change noise cancellation modes, raise lower the volume or Crusher levels, and all those kind of things. And all this is set up in the Skull IQ app, of course, and not to mention the plethora of control customizations at your disposal. In the app, you will also see Find with Tile. Skullcandy has used Tile in conjunction with the Tile app with many of their products in the past as their primary Find My Device tech.
I don't know what I'm thinking about, really living with you. I don't know what I'm thinking about, really living with you.
We're doing the Bluetooth range test of the Skullcandy Crusher ANC2s. Out in the rain here, it's drizzling, but it's raining heavy on and off, so I'm gonna try to make this quick. So I have Justin Timberlake playing on my OnePlus 11, piping through with a FLAC file to the Skullcandy. They can't take FLAC files, but I like to do that anyway. So where the phone is standing and where I'm standing between that's about 25 feet. And we're gonna walk from the back of my house towards the side, and let's see when these things start getting signal issues. Headphones tend to have stronger, when you compare it with earbuds, they tend to last much longer. You see the music is still playing. Usually earbuds right by the window there, around 35 feet is when they start dying. I still don't hear anything right now. I mean, like, I hear music, but no problems at all. Wow, the weather is, oh, there you go. I just had a signal loss, signal fluctuation right here. So it's around 55, 60 feet. So there you go. So yeah, this thing is strong. You can play between, look at this, there's a house between me and the headphone. So there you go. Oh, by the way, you can see the fit of these on my head. Not too bad, right? I mean, it is on the thicker side. I think if the next generation, they can shave off this, I'm not sure if you can see this little piece right here. It will be perfect. It will be right on par with the rest of the competition. But we know why this is thicker, because of the extra driver in there, the subwoofer driver, the Crusher driver as they call it. So that explains the thickness. And again, also let me wear this around my neck. You can see this, yeah. Let me try to extend it all the way for those of you with thicker necks like myself. Yes. Yeah, it's okay. It doesn't choke you or anything like that. Okay, I have these, whoa, that was slippery. I have these back on my head. We're gonna do a slight run test. Yeah, don't jog in these, guys. They're super heavy, 334 grams. They're just gonna jostle off your skull really quickly. If you have a cap on, it's okay. It's a shame it's not more secure on the head, because like with these on, you want to dance with them sometimes, you know, like you're shaking your head everywhere and it comes loose. So it's unfortunate. I'm very curious how these sound, the mics handle themselves out on the main road. So I'll see you in a second up front. Okay, in a second, as traffic passes through up and down this road, you hear when the noise suppression algorithm kicks in. Right now it sounds pretty good, but when cars come from behind me, you hear they just fade into some kind of like underwater kind of effect. Very garbled and all that kind of such. It's kind of grating if you're allergic to that kind of sounds. But overall, I would say my voice quality is actually surprisingly good. The intonation is still there, a little bit of clipping maybe, but my voice, the bass and everything, not bad, right? Not bad for $230. No wind noise reduction though. Right now there is like a 3 to 4 mile an hour kind of wind coming this direction. And I don't think it's strong enough to really show in the recordings, but I've tested these earlier. Maybe about 5 mile an hour, 6 mile an hour and above, the wind really gets into the mics and you'll hear it. So something to bear in mind. Another thing that it doesn't do, and this is not common yet, is if you're in noise cancellation mode, when you make a phone call or get a phone call, it doesn't go into pass-through mode. I like that feature if it happens. So there's more situational awareness, but some people prefer to not hear themselves talk and like to have noise cancellation still on. So it'd be nice to have some kind of option in the app. So Skullcandy, if you hear this, maybe put that in as a firmware update. Overall, I would say this is upper mid-pack in terms of voice quality, but for pure noise suppression, today is actually a great day if you're hearing it. Wet tire sound seems to be kryptonite for most devices. I don't know what it is, but you know, this was a good test. So if you're hearing it and you're liking it, that says a lot about Skullcandy's work on the tuning here. There are exactly 3 features that I found that make the Crusher ANC2s stand out from the rest. And I'll get to the headlining sensory bass in a bit, but first, I have to be clear with you that these cans aren't technically the best sounding ever, but it's because of the sum of its parts, from the tuning to the hardware to the adjustable haptic bass. All of that come together to give the Crusher an intimate, extremely fun, and I stress the word fun, listening experience. Like from rap to EDM to soundtracks to guitars, anything that the audio producers originally emphasized, even with a modicum of bass, sounds so potent on these. Vocals are a little recessed at times because of the bass, but they hold on to enough detail to keep you engaged. Now, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but most of the time I'm able to dial the bass to about 50% and leave it there for most genres and tracks. But if you're feeling brave or just want to feel like you're standing in front of live concert speakers, then go ahead. Crank it up to max and feel your jaw and neck shake like crazy. And I'll tell you something, guys. This thing simulates what it might be like being at a live concert so well that I went back and listened to some of my favorite stuff from the 90s, like Pearl Jam, Alanis, Rage Against the Machine. Oh my goodness, I couldn't stop laughing from track to track just from pure joy. So yeah, when anything develops a personal connection to you like the Crusher has, it's really hard to ignore. But hold up, I'm not done yet. Another area that the Crusher naturally excels is when watching movies and TV shows. The deep rumble in my head and upper chest brings me back to being at a cinema. And there's that personal, relatable thing again. All of John Wick 4's fight scenes feel so alive with these on, especially the one where he faces Kane for the first time. The soundtrack, the guns, the hits, the glass shattering. Mwah. And then there's my favorite anime movie for this year, Jujutsu Kaisen. You should check it out. The animation, the bass heavy tracks throughout are all fantastic. Now, the subwoofer bass drivers aren't invulnerable, but of course, I wasn't expecting it to. Power and response times, they're good, but the actual sub-bass quality or finesse just isn't there. So to test this theory out, I pulled up, yet again, the intro sub-bass flutter from Lizzie McAlpine's Doomsday with the Crusher dial turned to 0. And so this basically allowed me to hear what the main drivers can do without Crusher assistance. Unsurprisingly, I found that anything below 100 Hz thereabouts is weak sauce. So most of the illusion of that low bass hit really is owed to the separate Crusher drivers. Another two songs, Loving You by Stu and Say My Name by Destiny's Child from my follow-up test, is where I found the limits of the Crusher drivers. The tail end of both songs, with Crusher at anywhere between 75% to max, causes the bass to sound like busted speakers in a Honda Civic. Oh yes. Oh, and one more thing, SQ with 3.5mm jack wired is not bad at all, but it sounds a little bit muffled compared to using it with Bluetooth. What is nice though, you can still take advantage of Crusher and the noise cancellation modes while wired. All you have to do is keep the power to the headphones on. It's not since the Marshall Monitor 2s have I gushed over headphone controls like these. I really believe that other brands could learn a thing or two from this setup of a mix of well-defined buttons that also feel good in the hand, a ratchety dial that is also clickable, plus a toggle switch. None of that finicky touch gestures to worry about, plus you can use these with gloves or with wet hands. Moreover, I really appreciate it when the device responds almost immediately following each button press. From powering on to activating voice control, the Crusher 2 exhibits very little delay. Whatever processor they're using in here, it's bloody darn fast. For example, switching between noise cancellation off to on to pass through. In other headphones, you hear the voice, say it that they're changing, but you have to wait still a half second or so before the modes actually activate. But not here. You hear the voice, the mode is already changing. Impressive. The controls and the headphones as a whole are tied together with one of the easiest to grasp and customizable apps I've used so far. It's right up there actually with Soundcore's own app. And there are tons of customization options for audio and controls, plus one of the most flexible and robust always listening systems I've ever seen. There's Skullcandy's own solid voice assistant, there's Alexa, there's iHeartRadio. The only thing missing is Google Assistant or Siri support, and I hope they add these two because there's a page in the app where it promises future feature drops. So Skullcandy, if you're listening, get her done. Skullcandy really needs to go back to the drawing board with active noise cancellation. The way it handles low frequencies is decidedly middle of the pack, but it's really the mid and high frequencies that intrude so much, it's not even funny. Whenever I use these, I have to remind myself or double check that I didn't accidentally leave pass-through mode on. It's really that bad. Things like from raindrops to wet tire sounds, even birds chirping, that's the ANC's kryptonite. Yeah, you're doing so good, Skullcandy, and you had to drop the ball here. I've also noticed occasional random system buzzes in the left ear cup, kind of like zzz, zzz, whenever nothing is playing. It could be related once again to ANC because the intermittent buzzes only happen in that mode. And usually I would attribute this kind of issues to like pre-release batches, but in this case, Skullcandy sent me the XT variant, which is directly from Walmart's inventory. So let's blame it on Walmart. It's all Walmart's fault. Sorry, Walmart. You can probably agree with me that sometimes we need to let loose. All of us do. And as headphones people, you and I, and even those audiophile types, could use some loosening up, not worrying about flat curves and fidelity and all that. And even better, and this is where the Crusher ANC 2 comes in, it represents irresponsible fun. You can crank up the bass driver, and because it's not tied to volume, you won't go deaf. You'll get a massive headache, but you won't go deaf. SQ as a whole sounds fantastic with Crusher running full bore, the controls are top notch, comfort is good, battery life is monster. Although I do wish the price was closer to like 180, 185 considering how mediocre the noise cancellation is. If they can get ANC up to snuff in the next version, $230 would be an easy sell. So with all that said, I'm giving the super fun Skullcandy Crusher ANC 2 a GearUP score of 8.6 out of 10. This is how I broke it down to get the final score. If you want to get one of these for yourself, please use the affiliate link down below. And even if you don't keep it, you need to try this at least once in your life. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, show your support. You watched this whole thing, please subscribe. Yeah, show your support, thumbs up, comment nicely down below, please say hi. And remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news, the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. Hashtag. I'll see y'all the next time. God bless.